Alright, so I'm going to be showing you how to open up and disassemble this Dell XPS 13-9300. We're going to be using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver, and we're going to undo the screws from the bottom. Alright, you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down on my desk like that. In the pattern I remove them, so you got two here, and then you got 4 along the bottom. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove all the screws. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so this computer, the customer told me that it just randomly stopped turning on one day. So let's see, the keyboard is still randomly lighting up and the caps lock light is on, but it doesn't like turn on and off. So we're gonna see, hopefully there's no bad damage to the motherboard or anything, or the logic board. And yeah, we're pretty much gonna just undo the battery and see if we can do a power drain, and usually that might fix it if the board isn't fried. All right, so there we go, we got all those screws out. Let's go ahead now and pop the bottom cover off. So usually on these it's a little bit tricky because the gap between the bottom case and stuff is small, so you might have to twist it a little bit and that might help, but basically you want to get within these gaps here, and you can see it pops out. All right, obviously you can use a pry tool, but I'm just going to use my fingernails. So we're going to go in the bottom cover, between the palm rest and the bottom cover. I'm going to pull up with my fingernails and then push down with my thumb, and we're just going to go across just like this. Okay, and you can see it's already popping up. You can kind of wiggle this, all right, just like that, and there we go. Very simple. Comes off nicely. You can see the headphone jack is actually part of the top case. It is removable. There's a screw there and a screw there as well. Looks like you'd have to use a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver to remove that. But anyways, we'll set that aside and let's take a closer look at the inside here. So the battery model is right there, 722KK. Let's go ahead and disconnect that. All right, so we're gonna put this here, get that as a thumbnail. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Oops, not that much. Okay, so we'll get a thumbnail here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery. Most likely we're gonna need a PH1 JS1 or PH0 JS0. Let's see. Okay, so the 1 doesn't work. We're gonna have to switch over to the 0. So let's go ahead and use the PH0 JS0. There's a screw here. Let's go ahead and remove all these screws. Okay, one here, there's one down here. Again, keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Another one there, another one here, another one here. There's one in the middle up here, so we'll remove that as well. Okay, so we got those 5 screws out. Let's go ahead and carefully get under and lift this up. All right, the battery connector is right here, so let's zoom in. I'll show you how to remove that. It might be a little tricky, but now that we have the battery up, we have a little more slack. You can kind of swing it over a little, and actually it's already coming out. So you kind of just wiggle it side to side, and there you go. Normally, if you can't wiggle it side to side to pull it out, you have to use like a small flathead screwdriver in this little rectangle and use that to help push it as you're kind of wiggling it. But there we go, that's the battery removed. Okay, underneath you can see there's a keyboard connector here. You have this connection that goes to the motherboard. Keyboard backlight connection is right here, so this is flip latch, and then you have the front LEDs here connected to this board as well. So all of those components connect to the motherboard using this one little cable. You got the touchpad trackpad connector here. There's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD under this. So to remove that, there's one screw. This actually seems like a PH1 or JS1. So let's go ahead and switch. Yep. Undo that screw. And then this slides back. You can see there's this little thing that it slots into. So you want to be careful. And then you're going to wiggle this back. Oh, the wireless antenna is going into here. So be very careful with that. Okay. If you want, you can actually pull the antenna out first. So just lift it up. These things also kind of you can lift it out and unclip it, but I'm going to leave them in. Okay, we're going to pull this up and then wiggle and pull that back. So here's the SSD. It's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. You see it says PCI Express right there. To remove the SSD, after you get that off, you would lift this up and then you would carefully pull this back. There are these thermal pads in here, so if it's not like lifting up slightly, you want to take your time. Just keep applying constant pressure, just hold it slightly up, and eventually it will peel away from the thermal pad. But I'm going to leave that alone. Wireless card is here, soldered to this board, so you can't replace the wireless card. There's one screw there. It looks like a PH0, JS0. After you take that out, you can get the antenna out by going underneath the tail and then pull straight up. Don't try and pry from the inside or top of the connector. All right, you got the antenna. That's this gold copper with these little gold parts here, and then the other antennas over here. You got one fan with the connector over here. I'm not going to take it out. And another fan with the connector right there. Okay, then you got the fingerprint sensor. Is that fingerprint? It says FP. I'm assuming that means fingerprint, but let me see here. Okay, yeah, the fingerprint is attached to the power button. So this is just a little controller board, and then it has another thing going under to the power button. All right, what else do we have here? I think everything else is part of the motherboard. You got two speakers, okay? One speaker connected right there, okay? And then the other speaker connected right there. So these connectors you kind of just grab and wiggle to pull them out. And I think that's about it. That's removable. You have the connections for the screen, LCD, LVDS here. You would take these three screws out and take this out. If you're gonna mess with that, make sure after disconnecting the battery that you open up the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, this makes it a lot safer to work on. And yeah, just take that few seconds, 15 seconds, to make sure that your computer doesn't break. You can hold it longer than 15 seconds if you want, but yeah, usually 15 seconds is plenty to get that to start. Let me try and plug the laptop in and see if anything changed at all from that. All right, the charge port looks kind of weird. Let me see. Okay, so does it matter which side? I think both sides charge the laptop. So let's go ahead and plug it in and see if there's anything. Any signs of life? Without the battery plugged in, so far my battery is showing nothing here. So let's go ahead and go to the other side and try that. And my charger is showing 20 volts, 0.4 amps. But so far just the keyboard's lit up and the caps lock light is on. So it's looking like the motherboard is toast because it's doing the same thing it did when the battery was connected there. So doing all this power drain to make sure to reset everything didn't help. I'm trying to look at the board to see if I see anything noticeable on top. I don't really do. Oh, what was that? It looked like it flashed for a second. I don't really do board repairs and stuff. I have someone I work with that does that. It's not always 100% repairable. Depends what's broken and everything, and if we can figure out what's wrong. But yeah. So far I don't see anything that looks too strange here. So it's possible something on the other side could be damaged, but it looks like it's just flashing and doing the same thing as before. So sadly, this thing looks like it's dead. I unplugged it now. I'm gonna have to see if I can find out what the specs of this and what a replacement board would cost so I can let the customer know. Then they can decide if they want to replace the board or not. Oh, let's go ahead and put the SSD little thing back on. So this, you want to make sure this slides into that. There's a little notch or groove in that little circle. So line that up. Okay. Push that down, and then we'll get this screw back in. Alright, there we go. So now the SSD is back in. We're going to switch back over to the PH0, JS0. Let's go ahead and put the battery back in now. So the battery, just line this up here and then pinch all the way in. Alright, so make sure that goes in all the way. It seems like it's not in all the way. You see how you can kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but you can kind of see the gold contact still on this side. Usually it's supposed to go completely in. So let's see if I can get that to pull all the way. Maybe it's not going in all the way, and that's why it has issues. There we go. Okay, pinch that all the way in. I don't think that's gonna fix it, but it's possible that that thing was loose and then it caused it to arc, and that might have destroyed the computer in the end. Oh, let's go ahead and also put this wireless antenna cable back in the SSD little thing to route it. Okay, so just line that up and then push that back down. All right, let's get all these screws back in and we should be good to go. All right, we'll get that in. Get this one in. Get this one in. These last two in. This guy in. And this one in. Okay, I'm pretty sure nothing's gonna happen and it's still not gonna turn on. But let's go ahead, open this up, and then press the button again just to see. Okay, yeah, the caps lock light is stuck in the on. I don't know if you can see that. It's lit up, yep. But nothing's happening. Like, the keyboard lights up, that caps lock light is on, and nothing's gonna happen. It just sits there forever. So sadly, it seems like a logic board issue. I'm gonna have to let the customer know. I'll look up the cost of a replacement if I can find one, and then we'll see if it's even worth repairing or not. So the keyboard just went off. I'm assuming it's gonna turn itself back on. Actually, did the battery die, or it's completely off? Let's push the power button again. Nope, nothing's happening. Maybe the battery's dead. Let's plug this back in. Oh, this thing doesn't even light up. That's very strange. So it must be the battery just died. This doesn't even light up. Sadly, looks like it's completely dead. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. Sadly, it doesn't seem like it's going to come to life, so we're just going to put it back together, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. I know I didn't really show too much, but hopefully at least you can see the type of connections and things, and the SSD. If you wanted to upgrade that, you can, or replace the battery. Right, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Again, if it did, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed with the same profile picture but zoomed in. If you can take a look at that one and then subscribe to that as well, excuse me, that'll help a lot. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the last few screws in, and we're pretty much done with this one. Alright, sadly not repairable, and usually the board, if it can be repaired, is going to be pretty expensive. Usually probably expect it to be like $250 or more, so I'll have to see what a replacement board on this costs, but yeah, we'll find out. Okay, all right, last screw, and that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, there you go. Let's drop this spike.